Hi, Sylvain again. It's been a little while. I've been focusing on painting. I had an interesting question recently that I've heard many times, so I'll try to answer it. I can only answer it for myself. The question was about series, thematic series of work, and is that what precipitates doing that? Why do it, and does it produce better work? Basically, um, again, the three pillars: medium, subject, and content come into play here. Um, Most schools, and I hope you appreciate I'm speaking in generalities, but I think it would be safe to say that um, art schools or art programs in schools, um, just like any other program in school, since the industrial age, and we've left the industrial age, but our school system still is admired in the paradigm of production and industrialization. Therefore, everything in school, and certainly in the arts, is almost completely geared to the making of, the how to, if you're a painter, how to work with the paint, the different types of paint, the different types of brushes, what you can do and the treatments you can take with brushes, sticks, tools, paints, canvas, board, paper, blah 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 blah. It's on and it's all about the making. So that would fall under medium, the first aspect of art. Subject, the subject might come into play depending on the teacher and the school and the grade level of the schooling, where conceptually things are discussed, but still that's all in service to the making of. How you can, the size, everything about the making is what school's about. And I say that because oftentimes the production of a similar looking developed product in preparation for a show, quote unquote, in a school environment would say, yeah, make 10 strong ones of these and then you're ready for a show. Or make 20 strong ones of these and pick the 10 best ones and then you're ready for a show. It's very, think about it, it's very assembly line, very manufacturing minded. Okay? But there it is. There's the beginning of the seed of repetition of a series, because there is value in getting to know your material, especially if you do the same thing over and over again. At some point, you're going to notice the material does things. You're going to find things by accident, and this is going to expand your understanding of the tools you're using. And the hope is after you do something 100 times, that you will have come to such an understanding of doing that, that those last 10, 15, or 20 pieces that you did will be so far more informed by your experience of the medium that you will see your success, your surmounting of the knowledge that you've created for yourself with these tools that you've selected, in comparison to the ones you did in the beginning. This is school. So you can look at a series that way. I think it largely depends on what kind of artist you are too. Um, now now I'll talk about myself and series. Um, my approach, and certainly whenever, this is what I believe in the way that I do art, and the sector of the spiritual triangle that I think I'm in with other artists, is that I view being an artist as being a kind of a research scientist, not just in medium, and subject is just, those are the tools for me. Content is primary. So the ideas that I'm trying to develop in my canvases are personal to me. They're my worldview. There's my societal view. There's my personal, intimate view of the world. And so I want my images to be informed by my worldview, and my critique of my worldview. And that's, in other words, as an artist, that's the conversation that I want to have with people who are willing to have that conversation. That's what excites me about being alive, being human, constantly questioning my own thoughts and beliefs and summations and critical thoughts, and finding interlocutors who will not just with my words question what I'm saying, but in my canvases bring to those canvases things that they would not bring to a conversation, or could not bring, or might not be aware that they're bringing, that comes more directly from their experience, not their ability to debate. And there's a purity in that of some sort. There's a direct line to somebody's real experience of life, and I can then see and share with them an intimate worldview. And hopefully together we can surmise thoughts and critical thinking and perceptions of the world beyond what we could on our own. That's my whole mission as an artist. That's why I say research scientist, because if you've ever worked in a chemical laboratory, any kind of lab, there's a desperate, almost, I don't mean desperate in a negative way, but I mean a deep fascination with experimentation, with the aim of discovery, of questioning what one knows, always questioning what one knows, to either solidify what one knows or to expand and question further what one knows. This is the research part. So for me, when I get involved in a series, it's usually because I have a larger issue that I see in popular media, or in the population, the ideas circulating around, memetics. Certainly, living in the West, in America specifically, the consumerist capital of the world, and China is rapidly coming up to that too. Japan certainly has its own issues with consumerism. Consumerism isn't just purchasing stuff, buying stuff. It's about buying ideas. It's about just taking things that other people say wholesale and making them, trying to convince yourself that that's you, that that's what you believe, rather than doing the work, investigating yourself internally, and measuring with your worldview, is that truth, or is that something I'm buying into to be a member of? The whole identity issue is huge there, and we live in a time where that is omnipresent. I don't need to overstate it. So for me, that's kind of a natural ground now. Even now that I've said that, if you're an artist who finds just, look at Goya, for instance. Let's go back in history. Goya witnessed firsthand the Spanish Inquisition. It was omnipresent in his life and the lives of those around him. The wars that were going on at the time. So why we know Goya from his paintings of the horrors of war, and some things about the Spanish Inquisition. So was he creating a series? Was that an intentional series? Well, certainly it was intentional, but it was what his worldview was and what he was intensely concerned about communicating and talking about. So, did he dive in and say, I'm going to make a series of paintings about this? Maybe. But how conscious that decision is, I think, is less important than the fact that the kind of artist that I want to be, the kind of artist that I like to talk about, is a person that's motivated by questioning and talking about their worldview. And so, in a very real way, most of my work is a series. I will use the word series, though, because sometimes I'll try to focus in on a subtext of that larger worldview. I want to really nail something down. And I'm very well aware that even though I've been doing this for 30, 40 years, if you're an artist and you're not learning every time you put your medium onto a support, then I don't know if you can call yourself an artist. You may be very skilled. You may be a skilled illustrator. And that may be wonderful. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of reward in that. For me, I get bored really easily if I'm just repeating the same thing all the time. So if I put myself in the mental mindset of the rigor of a series, it's easier for me to say, okay, let me try a whole new way of working with this medium. Let me see if I can create, and let me mess with the way I present the subject, how I represent it, how faithfully I represent it, or is my draftsmanship allowed to get really loose here, or do I tighten it? How do I, what am I going to enforce in my palette? How am I going to work with the paint? So the whole spectrum comes into play for me. Medium, subject and content. It's not just the content. The content for me is the driver. And that's where the word series starts to play into it, because the series for me is a mental mindset and a philosophical one, not a making it one, not the how to make it one, not like the school agenda. So I hope that, does that make sense? I hope that made sense. If you feel like doing a series, do a series. It's a neat way, but enter into it with a goal in mind, not just repetition, because then there's not much payoff. All right, that's all I got to say on series for now. Thanks so much for asking. Have a great time. Create, create, create. Love you guys. Take care.